What's it say?
It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one here that will show the proof. I am the one here that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one here that will show the proof. Become the one here that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their minds. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.
And we are live. Welcome everybody. It's Tuesday, Logic Night, and we've got a bit of a special today. We've got the model Afflicted Logician come join us tonight. He's going to be witnessing a proof within mathematics and linked to reality, as we do, as proofs are. Oh well, at least the old school proofs. We do only deal with old school Aristotelian logical proofs, mathematical proofs. So I don't know whether Beddy's here. He can hear. Do you want to give us a mic check? Make sure we're okay.
Hi, I'm here. Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
there you go. That seems like it's working. Yeah, that sounds like good levels. Thank you.
Ev, can you turn screen share on for me, please? In
Sorry?
case I need it. Can you turn screen share on, please? Thanks.
What screen share?
Turn screen share on for me.
Are you going to be screen sharing or something?
Yes, I'm going to be. Well, I may want to. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
When the necessary time arrives. You have been in contact with Saragaki, have you? Do you want to lay us
Well,
out?
I wanted to get in touch with him, but he blocked me, so I couldn't.
Oh, okay. Do you
I
want
spoke
to
to
give us an idea
sorry,
on
but
what you're here for then?
if Askin is happy with me sharing this, I asked Askin contact Saragaki, and I think he did, but weren't able. I wanted to arrange some sort of agenda for this evening.
Well,
we weren't able to do that.
Do you want to give us your idea? Because I mean, you have been talking in the YouTube chats. So do you want to just lay out what it is that you?
What I wanted, I actually found 3 proofs which I think Saragaki had put together. They deny this, but I'm quite happy to go through those. Well, I'm quite happy for Saragaki to take me through those. If he can't do that, then that's the end of it.
The end of it? What's it? What's the end of what?
The end of me discussing with you tonight.
Okay. So you're here to discuss some proofs that Saragaki has posted.
Yeah, I would like Saragaki to take me through the logic of it, and I will comment on the logic where appropriate.
Okay.
How's that?
And do you have any proofs in return?
We've already discussed that, Bev.
Mm-hmm.
We have already discussed,
is that what
you know what my view is on that. So,
well, can you just state for everyone then, please?
State what?
That whether you'll be proposing any proofs of your own tonight.
No, I propose a critique of any proof that's offered.
Okay, but no, you offer no proofs.
As I said last week, I have no proofs.
Okay. Well.
Is Saragaki happy to proceed then?
Yeah, I'm good with proceeding. I just
Awesome.
want to ask you, Beddy. You mentioned 3 proofs, distinct, different proofs. Which ones are you talking about?
You probably have copies of these. If I can screen share now, then I'll show you the ones I had in mind. I can't screen share yet.
All of mine are just image files, right? You can post it in the chat.
Right. Post them in the chat. Can people see them here? Can we see it on YouTube?
So it will be on screen. Yes, I'm showing the screen. So if you post them in the live chat, and then
okay,
can go
I will do that now. Amongst yourselves.
It does help to clarify, then we know what we're going over.
Well, that's why I wanted to discuss with Saragaki, but wouldn't. Right, there's one, I think.
Do you think that's a proof that I made?
Oh. Finish. That's it. There we go.
Can we just? Yep. Can we just start off with me stating very blatantly first off that first one you've linked, I've never claimed to have done that as a proof at all.
The first one is the one that says, it says Saragaki, 17th of February 2022. All perpendiculars to a plane are parallel to each other. Is that the one?
Yeah, I've never claimed that to be a proof.
Right. So you don't remember. I actually discussed that at the time. Might have been February on this channel, the live chat. I copied that and I said, "Look, Saragaki, is that your proof? Did you say that, or did you do you agree that's a proof?" And you said yes. You remember that?
Like I said, I haven't written that up as a proof, like the
Do you
two
remember? Do you remember the
subsequent proofs.
conversation? Do you remember the conversation we had? I first wrote that proof down, and you said you didn't really know, and you said what you're saying now, then copied that screenshot, which is clearly yours, right? It's
Yep.
clearly yours, and you agreed at the time. Yeah, it's mine. That's a valid proof. And actually, a lot of
I'm
people,
telling you that.
other people discussed that in the live chat, and they also said, "Yeah, it's perfectly valid."
So let's handle
Happy
that
to talk
one.
through that one. Happy for you to talk through that one.
Yeah, I think you went over this one, right? You held a presentation on this whole
I
thing.
did. And a lot of people actually, Mike Jones actually swore at me. He said I was a fucking fraud or something.
Are you
Saying
going
that
to
I
actually
made.
let Saragaki have any words at all? Or are you
Yeah,
just
sure.
going to keep cutting them off?
In your presentation, at the conclusion of your presentation, you agreed, right, that if you put the words if and then in this statement, then it is valid.
No, I didn't agree that. Well,
yeah, you were on live on
that is
YouTube on
certainly
record
false.
doing that.
If and then, that you're thinking of something else. You're thinking of something quite different. I discussed that in my last presentation here. No, actually, I'm sorry. It was on Blues Channel. That is the fallacy of the illicit minor, as it's called, and it's not a proof. It's an invalid argument. I believe it's
You think
yours.
so? All perpendiculars to
It
a
is
plane
an
are
invalid
parallel to
argument.
each
Yeah.
other. That's definitely true, right?
All perpendiculars to the same plane, yeah, are parallel to each other. Correct.
All perpendiculars to a horizontal plane are vertical. That's also true, right?
Yeah, but does it imply the conclusions? All verticals are parallel to each other.
All verticals being perpendicular to horizontal. Yes, it does.
Okay. So you think that argument is valid?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, it's not valid. I explained in the previous presentation why it's not valid. It's called the fallacy of the illicit minor.
And what's the illicit minor?
The minor premise of that.
Yeah, be
argument.
very specific, since you're the one critiquing, right?
Well, you told me in the chat last week you're an expert on logic.
I
So
did
you
not
must know what the fallacy of
say
the
any
illicit
such
minor
thing.
is. Sorry?
Yeah, I never claimed any such thing.
Right, okay. So you're not an expert on logic.
Holy shit, are you already starting with this?
With what?
Sarugaki asked you to name it in this text. Where is illicit minor?
Well,
Thank
it is
you.
the minor premise of that argument.
Be specific.
Right. So the major premise is the first one, the minor premise is the second one, and then there's a conclusion. So the
As
minor is
in, be
illicit.
specific and explain what the problem is in detail.
Well, it's fallacious. It does not instantiate a valid logical form.
So you're saying what exactly?
It does not instantiate. It is the form all A's are B's, all A's are C's, therefore all C's are A's.
And you mean by that what exactly? Can you please be specific in your critique?
Right. Its form is all A's B, all A's C. You conclude all C's are B. Correct?
Can you
That's the
detail
form.
your critique? in context to what's on the screen, of course.
I explained in the previous presentation why that was invalid. I don't really want to. I really came here just to see, did you accept that was your argument, and do you think it's valid or not? You think it's valid, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Shall we
have
move on to the
a
next?
black swan to sort of disprove either of the premises?
That's fine. You have said we've recognized that it is your argument, and you think it is valid, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I still haven't heard you be like show in any detail.
Well, you and Bev went through that argument, or my critique of that argument, in great detail about 4 weeks ago.
And do you want to state for the record what specifically your critique is? Instead of just using terms, just explain in detail what the problem is.
I've said specifically what the critique is. If you look up fallacy of the illicit minor, Google.
Yeah, that's not what I'm asking you, Beddy.
Just
I'm
look
asking you
look
to,
it up. Look it up on Google and understand and learn why that argument is fallacious.
so you're not here to actually be constructive.
And
I
by the
am.
way,
I'm saying, look, like I'm saying, this is how you can learn what makes a valid argument distinct from an invalid one.
Can I just ask, right? There's two parts to that if you're talking about the second one. Is it the perpendiculars being vertical or the horizontal plane? Which specific part of that statement do you think is invalid?
Ev, a statement is not valid or invalid. We went through this. Statement is true or false, right? An argument is valid or invalid. And what is it to be a valid argument? You give me what's the criterion for an argument being valid? Saragaki, expert in logic.
Again, I never
is a
claimed
valid
to be
argument?
an expert in logic. Why are you doing this?
Well, you said you're an expert in logic.
I never did.
In the chat last Tuesday.
Provide screenshots if that's the case. I am 99.9% sure I've never said that.
I'll see if I can find, well, if it's worth it. Yeah.
Well, it's you backing up your claim, so I'd say it's very pertinent because I don't agree with putting that out there when it's not something I've ever said.
You mean putting out that you said you're an expert in logic?
Yeah, just
I think I said in the
stating.
chat, I said something like,
but screenshot, baby. I'm telling you, I never said it, and you can't prove that I did, so why even bring it up?
Because you said you're an expert in logic.
I did not. For everybody watching,
Okay, you did not. So it's on record. I'm saying you did say that, and you said not. So we disagree, right?
You have no evidence to back this up, of course.
Can we move on to the subject? So, Saragaki, what makes an argument valid? What is it? What is it for an argument to be valid?
Beddy, please don't do this. I just asked you what part of that particular line that you've said makes this a not valid statement. Which part do you not agree with?
Bev.
Is it the horizontal plane or the perpendiculars to the horizontal plane?
No, it's the argument form. It's an argument that's valid or invalid.
I don't think it was ever made as an argument, is it?
Yeah.
But I think he stated at the beginning, that's just some things that he's wrote down. Now, you've said you disagree with it, please.
He's written down a bloody argument, and you discussed this, you guys on live chat a few weeks ago, discussed this at great length, and you all agreed.
Yes.
Very similar argument to this.
It's a very simple statement, Beddy. Most children could follow along with this one. What's your problem with it?
Well, it's of the form all A's are B and all A's are C. You're concluding that all C's are B. Now, just think about it. think about, so okay, so a valid argument is one where it is impossible that the premises can be true, the conclusion false. That's a valid argument, right?
Do
It's
you
fake.
agree?
Absolutely impossible.
Can we have a horizontal plane? Is that
I'm-
possible?
Nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it is. There's a
nothing to do. You're
horizontal
just
plane in
you're
that
just
in that
debating-
line, Beddy, that you've just
No,
disagreed
the
with.
arguments, both statements can be true. The question is whether conclusion follows from it, right?
Can you have a horizontal plane, Beddy?
No,
Is
forget
that what you
Beth.
disagree with?
I just said.
Or do
Both
you
premises
disagree
can be
with the
true.
fact that perpendiculars to a horizontal plane will be vertical? Which particular part
I'm saying
of that
that
statement do you
that
disagree
argument
with?
is not valid, right?
It's not
You need to
valid in
understand
what?
what a valid.
What's it not valid in, please?
What's it not valid in?
Oh,
You said
right,
illicit
I'm
minor.
out.
You said illicit minor. And Sarugaki and me asked you to point it out. You didn't. Please do it.
The fallacy of the illicit minor is any argument of the form all A's are B, all A's are C, therefore all C's are B.
We are not talking about ABC. We are talking about perpendiculars and verticals.
No, we're
Please,
talking about ABC. That's the whole idea of validity. You can.
we
The
are
idea
not
of validity
talking about
is.
ideas. We are talking about verticals and perpendiculars. So
No,
please
we're talking about validity. Don't. If I cannot even. If we can't even accept this concept, how can we have a rational discussion?
we don't need you to explain concept. We need you to show where this illicit minor lies in this argument.
Right. The minor premise is the second premise. Do you get that?
Not always, but okay. So where this is illicit minor in, for example, in the third, this lady with this board, where is illicit minor? You didn't show it on. You didn't show it on the blues. You just said about some cat and fishes. So this is what was your example of illicit minor, which is not related to our example.
I think I can help here with just a brief comment. What Beddy is saying, it doesn't matter that those premises are true or not. The form of the argument is invalid. So it doesn't matter whether you had in those first two premises, whether you were talking about cats and dogs and mammals. The structure of the argument is invalid. It doesn't matter whether those two premises are true or not. Thank you very much.
Illicit minor means that you are creating part of all, for example, and this part of all shouldn't exist in that collection. This is illicit minor. And please show where it is here in this example.
So if I say.
Yeah, and then when you've done that, if we could possibly get back to the whole reason that you were here, which was to talk to Sarugaki, because everyone seems to have forgotten that. Thank you.
You still don't seem to have taken on board what I was saying. Beddy's making the point that the form of the argument is invalid. It doesn't matter whether
Since
the
when was
premises
your
are true
name
or not.
Beddy or Sarugaki?
Yeah, well, I'm
Emma,
being very
I'm quite
helpful. I'm
happy.
saving everybody about
Your
half an hour
name
of
is
dithering.
Rumpus. Rumpus, shut up.
Emma, Rumpus has explained that.
Yes, yes.
Well.
Rumpus has explained
Totally
everything.
explained
You
it
have
well.
explained nothing. Yes, we get that. Sarugaki, please continue.
No, I don't necessarily want to move past his idea of illicit minor without him pointing it out specifically. And
I agree with you.
Bringing up.
Yep. I agree with
So,
you.
Carry on,
Okay, so
Beddy,
Emma,
please.
are you happy for me to take him and the rest through why it's invalid?
Please do.
Okay. Let's take the argument. All cats have clause.
Can we take the argument that's actually on screen, the one that you're bringing up specifically? to
Right.
talk
Well, as
about?
Rumpus has explained, we want to explain why that form is invalid. So all cats are fish lovers. Cats are mammals, and you conclude, which are true, which is both true. You conclude all mammals are fish lovers. Now, do you see what's wrong with that argument?
That's not my argument. It's irrelevant. Can you talk about my argument that you're here to critique?
This is absolutely hopeless. So I will sign out for tonight. So what you're saying is, so in conclusion,
So what you're saying is you can't answer what is wrong with Saragaki's proof.
I've just explained, and Rumpus has confirmed the concept of logical form.
Thank you for showing everyone that you couldn't come in and do what you said you were going to do. Awesome. Well done. Thank you, Beddy.
Thanks for bowing down to Rumpus as well in logic. You're meant to be the master, Beddy.
Yeah,
See you.
Saragaki,
Thank you a lot.
Was it all you hoped it could be?
That was quite embarrassing. Like, before he's even made a single statement about what's wrong with my thing, he's putting words in my mouth and whatever else has you. Like, that was strange.
That is.
But you never worked that hard before, huh, Saragaki? Jeez.
Just point out the problem here, right? I'll point it out straight off. On his model, he doesn't have a horizontal plane. They don't exist. So that's why this statement fails, or that's why he has a problem. But he's not brave enough to say it. He can't let those words come out of his mouth. So I'll say them for him. On his model, there are no horizontal planes. They don't exist. Not the geometric ones that have verticals perpendicular to them.
Now I understand, because based on what Saragaki was showing, I didn't see any issue at all. You know, I wasn't thinking based on that model. I was just going on exactly, Bev.
Model of
because there is no issue with that. He's talking about cats and mammals instead.
Yeah, I think that was very strange behavior, Beddy. And I think it's clear for everyone to see that you didn't actually have any clarity to bring to the table. You just had a big fat nuh-uh to bring along with you. And that's kind of sad, being a globe logician, right? Having no proofs of your own and just coming nuh-ahing other people's proof. Even though, of course, yeah, I'm just... I never wrote this out as a proof. I have if you wrote the two subsequent ones he posted, those I wrote out specifically as being proof, but that was just a couple of statements where it's obviously logical that the conclusion follows there. If he wants to call it proof, I mean, I'll have it, but that wasn't my intention with it in the first place.
And everybody should be clear what happened. Instead of using the picture that was on screen as the example as to why the illicit minor fallacy was there, he used cats and fish and mammals instead. That should be very telling.
It is. It truly is.
Yep.
I agree.
He wanted to exclude horizontal plane from all planes, and he was not able to say why.
But he didn't even say that paper. I mean, he wouldn't even go that far.
Yeah, of course, I know that, because he knows this would be taken as he would be taken as a hostile witness eventually. So he didn't dare to do that. He wanted us to do for him, but in fact he was trying, or is trying, to exclude horizontal plane from planes, and he cannot justify it. Why? Because he is talking about this, for him, illicit minor, that horizontal, because they don't exist, they don't belong to planes, Therefore, they are illicit minor. This is what he's going to do or intending to do.
And he's not
But
brave
he's not
enough
saying
to
that.
say it himself, right?
Yes,
He's not
of course.
brave enough to say it, and that's how good globe logic is.
He thought just spouting a fallacy would do it for him. And a little bit arrogance too, I detected there. Was it just me?
I think so.
Yes, he was previous times he was with more polite voice. Today he was nervous and arrogant for me, as I can recognize voices.
I think that was very strange how he wanted to put it out for the world, a lie about what I've said, that I've called myself an expert on logic somewhere, somehow, which I've never done.
But
I
I
thought
mean,
that was very strange.
how far did we get? Right? I mean, you could be an expert at logic, right? He can't.
Yeah.
He can't get past the very simple mathematical, like geometric saying, right? That one follows the other, follows the other. It's a natural progression. Any person can work through that geometrically and understand what's going on.
There'd be no issues.
I would, back it up. I would say in the first one he posted, which was just an argument in the chat, of course, that both of those two statements are true statements. And logically, the conclusion does follow perfectly fine. No hiccups involved.
Yeah. I would say that that's a pretty flawless statement, right?
I would say.
Yeah. For anybody else that's looking at that and reading it and thinking, yeah, I can't see anything wrong with it either. Well, don't worry. Beddy's just trying to do Alice in Wonderland tactics. It's called gaslighting, especially when Rumpus comes in to help him out.
Yeah, that was interesting. Thank you, Rumpus.
If you don't inject the globe, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this statement at all.
Yeah.
Until you inject the globe in there, that's when it all starts to fall apart.
But not necessarily the globe. It's a model, right? A model that shifts something that allows to interrupt the natural logical process.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me back up what you just said earlier, Bev. I want to make this very clear. Whether or not I am an expert in logic or not, right? I never said that anywhere, and he just wanted to say that I did. I haven't said that, and I thought that was very strange of him to just put that out like that.
Yeah,
that's kind of an arrogant statement, and I can't see you doing that, Saragaki.
There's a lot of that going around at the minute. They've become brazen in the fact that they can just make up lies about people. And he knows it's live. He knows it's recorded. You know, he knows all of this is going out. So he knows what he's saying when he comes in and says stuff like that. It's shameful.
I think so. That's why I really want to make that clear. Like, that was a blatant lie on his part.
Mm-hmm. And we have got clips of Beddy saying, is that the one that's unimpeachable? Or was that
that's the second one he posted. Yeah. The second one that's actually a proof that I wrote out. Geometric proof of parallel verticals. Yeah. Do you want to find? I can find those clips.
Yeah. If you find the clips, and it's logic night, right? Beddy's come here expecting to see a proof, and well, he was going to critique a proof, but seems like we can't even get to the proof without Beddy doing a runner. I think Rumpus might have told him to get out of it. It's getting a bit too much heat. If Rumpus has to come in to help him.
He was just talking about cats and mammals and fish lovers.
I shut off because he came here to critique this statement. That was the first one that he posted. Shocking. He said he wasn't going to come and bring us any proofs because he has no proofs.
And he has no even reasonable critique, so he had nothing.
See, Beddy, he's the one that posted it. That's what he wanted to go over. This one's a bit smaller. So if there is any other globe logicians out there that feel ashamed for the globe side, feel free to come along and tell us what's wrong with the thing. But I think most of the model fanatics are beginning to understand now that the geometric horizontal plane literally doesn't exist on their model. That's why they get so triggered about us talking about horizontal planes and all perpendiculars to the plane being parallel.
So to be precise, this illicit minor for Beddy, unspoken, is horizontal plane. This is his illicit minor, which he didn't mention.
Yep. And there's many reasons that the horizontal plane doesn't exist. And we can show that geometrically through Euclidean geometry. It's very simple to show. But I think louder than the geometric proof should be the non-words of the opposing side. Beddy was all they had. Literally, that's the end of the road for them. He's their special guy. And didn't do too well.
And I think it's interesting. I've been thinking back and forth about what is it that he wants to go over, because like he has gone over and we have gone over together with him also several of this in the past, and he never had this issue back then. And the two clips I've just posted is from when we went over this proof that I posted immediately afterwards, where he agrees with it, completely agrees with it. There's no problem with it. So I've been wondering what he was going to bring today, but I was expecting more than just naysaying with no backing.
Right, I'm going to play this now at the minute. So first one, playing it now.
Therefore, CD, I'm jumping through here, CD must be parallel to EF. Now that is totally uncontroversial. Therefore, CD, I'm jumping through here, CD must be parallel to EF. Now that is totally uncontroversial.
Totally uncontroversial.
Therefore,
one.
CD, with the definition of horizontal through here, for any given horizontal line, any two straight lines that are perpendicular to that horizontal will be parallel. That's unimpeachable. With the definition of horizontal, for any given horizontal line, any two straight lines that are perpendicular to that horizontal will be parallel. That's unimpeachable. With the definition of horizontal, for any given horizontal line, any two straight
glad
lines
also
that are
in the background
perpendicular to
of
that
the clip you
horizontal
can see
will be
this
parallel.
proof being on screen,
That's
knowing that that's
unimpeachable.
exactly what we're talking about.
You can see it there, and it is this very proof that, I mean, we have been over a few times. I was hoping he was going to let you get to your new one.
Me too. That's
Yeah.
my favorite one.
Yeah.
And can I, like, did anybody else hear what he said about A equals B, A equals C, therefore B equals C?
Mm-hmm.
I found that very strange, right? Because if B and C both equal A, and things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other, then why wouldn't B equal C in his example?
Well,
That's why I wanted him to be very specific with his critique, right? Because axiom 1 is still a thing.
yeah, I don't know whether it's worth even trying to understand it, because a logician with no proof must be a confused mind. Can you imagine how confused you must be if you're a so-called claimed logician, yet have no proofs of your own, but just go round critiquing everybody else's proofs? I mean, if he has no proof, then that means that of all of the proofs he's ever critiqued, he's never found a valid proof that he can share. That's what that says to me.
Yeah, I would agree. Because if anybody would ask me, for example, if I have proof of anything, I have a really well-written first book of Euclid's Elements. It's like 40 plus proofs in there. I have no problem bringing them up.
Yeah. Me too. But all of these proofs go out the window when you try and link horizontal and vertical. Seems like there's a group of people that have a real problem with horizontal and vertical and the geometric relationship between the two.
Yes, because if you assume that horizontal exists, then vertical cannot exist as parallel to each other in their model. So you can exchange this horizontal to vertical. So in that case, this illicit minor would be vertical, for example. But he cannot back it up. Why? Why not? That's the case. Because you have to specifically say why, the cause why they cannot be. And he didn't say that. And I assume that he will never say that.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's why I asked him if he had, or if it was possible for him to produce the black swan for either statement. I think that went past him and wasn't addressed, but obviously he cannot do it because they're both true statements.
Mm-hmm. Eric's just said in the chat, Beddy is just another debunker. He just uses logic instead of science. Well, I don't think he expressed any logic there tonight. There was no logical form to any argument he brought tonight. He couldn't even identify the term that he was specifically bothered with. He couldn't point at it. He couldn't even put a circle around it in a screenshot.
Rumpus had to come in for the love of God to rescue him. And he said, yeah, what Rumpus said. Like, that was embarrassing. My God, was that embarrassing.
Yeah, it's getting worse. And like,
I'm quite disappointed, Bev, in that. I had high hopes.
Yeah. Could have gone a bit further, couldn't it? That could have been good. But like, I have to say, wait a minute. I have to say, no one here is an expert at logic. But nobody needs to be an expert. That's the point that you should be making now. As long as you've got a modicum of common sense and an ability to process stuff and a slight job of reasoning power, you can reason this stuff out that seems like Beddy can't.
Perpendicular, for the love of God. Are you serious, Beddy? Oh my God, man. That was shameful. Shameful.
I'm hoping that there will be somebody out there that comes in and says, I mean, that was a bit embarrassing. At least I'll have a go at trying to do better than that. Like Emma says, that was upsetting because that could have been so much more, so much better.
He made such a big fuss about this on Friday, was it, in the YouTube chat?
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, so like and I'm pretty sure more, like a lot of you have also been really looking forward to this night about this. It is a shame that it had to be cut short like that because he had nothing.
I had my concerns yesterday because on YouTube chat yesterday, Edby is Baby, right?
Yeah.
So he wrote something like that. If the level was straight, there would be no Antarctica. So I can see from that he is not well, because this is so stupid statement that I pointed out to him and he didn't see that. But this is not good logic work if someone can produce something like that, because it means that the curved level is the cause why Antarctica exists, because this is causation statement. So I really don't know what happened to him, but he's not well, I think.
The illogical logician. Incredible.
Right, I've got... Did you want to go over your proof there, Saragaki?
Yeah, which one should we do?
Do you want to do your new one, or... I mean, I have to put this back on screen, right? If this is as simple as it gets, then it's not a proof. It's just a couple of statements that Saragaki wrote down that follow each other. I mean, you don't need to be a logician to read this. You don't need to have any particular mathematical skills to follow that process. It's very simple. These terms, they're all well defined: perpendicular, plane, and parallel, vertical, horizontal. I mean, that's as complicated as this gets. It's just a nice reasoning process to go that you can put your head in and sit there and end up with you can confirm it to yourself, right? There are other mathematical ways that you could actually go to prove these types of statements. But these are just the initial outlay of a logical statement. The beginnings, the formulation of how these things arrive, right? So from the reaction to these types of statements, we go to work. Saragaki likes doing this sort of stuff. I mean, who wouldn't? When you can get a reaction from putting out a mathematical proof, a statement, then yeah, that's what we're about here. So this is going to be good. Which one do you want to go over?
I'd say the new one, because
Yeah.
the one that you just showed clips from with Beddy, like that's already on your YouTube channel. We've spent a lot of time on that one.
Yeah.
So the new one we haven't really touched much.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So have you got screenshots, or do you want to, have you got a thing you want us to go over?
I will post in the chat.
This lady with board.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I think I had that on my other screen.
I have a new one that I know we haven't touched on or gone over, but that is basically the same one with the parallel verticals. I just included in the same diagram a proof that the horizontals are also parallel. So it's the same as the other one with the same logic behind it. So I'm not sure that's worth touching, but I'll still post it.
Right, I've got the lady on the board up on screen.
Yeah, I think that one is really good because it is so short and so simple, and it just relies on the definitions of these words we're using, which, what they are, and axiom 1 within geometry, which I would assume is quite easily understandable to people. So, yeah, I like this one with the lady. I think it's short and simple, and it's symmetrical in a sense with the way I've done it. I like symmetry, so I had to do it like this.
Yeah, I was thinking this could be one of the things that we can get Emma to voice and put together on some sort of a simple package for us to, lay it out.
Yeah, absolutely, Emma. That would be amazing. 2-minute little clip or something like that.
Yeah, geometric proof series or something like that. Proofs. Simple proofs. This one, I think we were discussing this the other day, weren't we? We were saying what we do here at Next Level Discord is we like the idea of advanced simplicity. We like the idea to make something as simple as possible, and also go back to first principles. So we were discussing that this particular thing is an ideal starter proof. It's about as basic as I think you could possibly make it, which I really like the idea of the simplistic approach. Everyone can understand what vertical is. Everyone can understand what horizontal is. Everybody understands the right angle relationship of the two. So this is the simplest proof to link the geometric proof to reality, which obviously is the basis of logic, where we've been dealing with the idea that you can only predicate on something, and that something being the actual tools that we talk about. Plumb, level, they're the reality tools, and then you've got the geometric line, and then linked to the vertical and horizontal. I think this is the ideal way to do this.
Yeah, I would agree. We had that conversation. What is the absolute simplest and most basic proof that you can write down formally? And I know it was me who asked the question, but like you ask questions because you want to know, right? So
You're challenging yourself, right? Not only you're saying it out loud, but you're just challenging yourself. Like all of these things, like we've all said, the proof is a personal thing. And when Saragaki did it, he was setting a challenge for himself. And I think this is brilliant. This is just the exact sort of thing that we're about right at this time.
I think that's worthwhile for anyone listening to just ask yourself as well. What is the absolute simplest proof that you can have for anything? I think that was an interesting thing to ponder. And I mean, that doesn't mean the question is closed just because I wrote this up, of course.
I would say that the question is closed.
You think this is the most simple it gets?
Because this is syllogism. With this lady with board, we have inside this normal classic syllogism, classic normal working syllogism. And in Aristotelian definition is that what science is, or knowledge, this is syllogism giving knowledge is a proof. So proof is syllogism. And we have here syllogism, which proves something. There we are. Nothing more.
I like it.
And I can explain in detail how this lady with board works here, because we have all conditions and circumstances to create syllogism, and we have here. So if I can explain.
Go ahead.
What is subject, what is predication, how it is linked. So in first sentence we have vertical is subject, and straight line perpendicular to horizontal, this is predication about this vertical. Vertical in the second sentence, vertical is also subject, and it is said in this second sentence how we can obtain vertical in real life. So if we are creating modus ponens, this would be an experiment for that. Because plumb line is physical thing in reality. So vertical is produced by plumb bob. Third line is, as I said before, is not part of syllogism, because it only explains that if vertical is always produced by plumb bob, therefore we can equivocate these two. Vertical and plumb line are the same, because vertical is always always produced by plumb bob. There is no such exception that you can have plumb bob not being vertical. So this is our middle term, and the conclusion is plumb. It is subject, which was in the second sentence, which is link between middle term and conclusion. Plumb is straight line perpendicular to level. So and level is also received by experiment. So these two terms, plumb bob and level, are taken from reality. They are not mathematical terms. So and then we know that horizontal is level. So this is classical proof, Aristotelian proof, syllogism, very well constructed and produced. So I have no doubt that this proof that horizontal is level. It's me.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah. And I think it's
we
funny
have
because
got I can science that in the chat. And he has just said that there's nothing that we went over in the video the other day to suggest level being horizontal. We didn't touch on it, apparently. Well, we've just gone over it. There's the unavoidable facts of reality in the chat.
Weren't we talking about that before? What kind of minds just don't see things that are obvious to others?
Yeah.
I can science that is begging the question, and he wanted Bev to beg the question with him. And Bev refused.
Yeah, misery likes company.
Because this is on him to prove or even talk about that level is not straight. Not on Bev. Because if what a level is to establish horizontal plane of reference, then he should on his own bring some evidence that this can be otherwise. This not on us or Bev to do that. He is begging the question, so he should bring proofs or evidence, whatever.
I
not
think,
me, not.
I think Saragaki touched upon it. He said, "Where's your black swan? You can't just say nuh-uh and then walk away. You have to show the black swan. The reason why these statements aren't what do you call valid? They never do."
and the absurdity of thinking that you can, in the case of all perpendiculars to a horizontal plane, are vertical. You would have to find a vertical that is not perpendicular to horizontal.
Yeah.
And which, of course, is impossible. You can have a line that is not perpendicular to horizontal, making it, of course, not vertical. You would violate the law of identity right away. And it would be ridiculous for him to bring it up, and I think he knows that.
You should have had 2 spaghettis at hand, bro, to show him perpendicular. Bam!
Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot, Paper, going over this. I don't know if everybody can see that. Does it look everybody in the chat and everything? You know, when Saragaki puts this out and it's vertical, P is a straight line perpendicular. Does it sound or look too mathematical to understand, or does it need voicing over to, for us to go over it? I think if
you use crayons.
Well, I think if it was voiced, then you could you make a link to the words, to the symbols, and the way that it's formed together. I think
Maybe it can be put in 2 ways. For example, premise 1, vertical is a straight line perpendicular to horizontal. Premise 2, vertical is a straight line established by a plumb bob, and in brackets, vertical equals plumb line, because this is just the repetition of second sentence. And third conclusion, plumb is a straight line perpendicular to level. This would be in this way that where in Wikipedia is examples are written in that way.
Yeah.
That you are naming premise 1, premise 2, conclusion, but you can add some rhetoric to this, and you can say if vertical is a straight line perpendicular to horizontal, and if vertical is straight line established by plumb bob, then plumb bob is a straight line perpendicular to level. We can put it in 2 ways.
Yeah, and I think we should. We could put it out in different short videos and find some way to put the graphics to this sort of stuff.
Yes, and
it's obviously hard for them to take.
And even we can link these subjects together with arrows to show where the subjects are linked and when predications are linked.
Yeah.
So to show how it works, like in comic book.
Yeah, I think this to me is simple logic. You can deny it if you want. Come up with, like with Beddy, come up with a non-argument and then walk away. Obviously, you know what's going to happen. They're going to be saying that we haven't got a clue about logic, and they obviously know much better than we do. And Rumpus came in here and told us as well, and all of that sort of stuff. But I mean, surely everybody who's watching this and who saw whatever that was that did occur, it doesn't really make sense when you're faced with something that seems as simple as this. And it doesn't just seem it literally is simple. This is, like we said, this is about as basic as you could ever make a proof and link that mathematical geometric proof to reality in a logical way that you can then predicate upon a plumb bob. You can predicate upon level and say this level is horizontal. You can literally do that. That's how we link logic and the use of terms, and how we link predication. That was good, wasn't it? I don't know where that came from. Bloody hell.
Yep. And I will be the first to admit, right, that I really like the idea of t-shirt logic, of course, the mind your P's and Q's in particular. And that's why I had to write up the law of identity, law of excluded middle, law of non-contradiction, and the law of double negation. And I'm specifically pointing out where the P, the identity, is, and the perpendicular sign and all of that. But none of that's really necessary to put on. It's just to underscore the thing even more, just in the sense of t-shirt logic with the P's and Q's. So that's just, you know, for the visualization. If it helps anybody, I hope it does, but it's not necessary.
I particularly like I know it doesn't necessarily fit with the form of the three, but the way you put vertical equals plumb line in there, because that is the theme of this. The things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. And that's a perfect example, because you end up with horizontal being level, another thing which is equal to the same thing. It's basically axiom 1 of Euclid, our copies of the books, but more commonly known as the common notations, the ones that exist throughout all things, that being science, geometry, and mathematics, and thought and reasoning. All of those things apply to the common notations, of which
Absolutely.
that is a proof based entirely around that one axiom, the basic, as base as you could get. I think that's why I'm so impressed with it, because if we had to start off, which we obviously are doing with advanced simplicity, this is obviously the first step. I would challenge anybody, and I mean anybody, even the Globers that are out there, come up with a better proof. where more base could you start at a proof to link mathematics to reality and show people the connection between the two? I don't know where it could possibly be. I say that's perfect. So thank you, Saragaki. And it's
Yeah,
a
well,
pity
thank
Beddy
you as
didn't get
well.
a chance to critique it, because that would have been really interesting to hear the critique of a model afflicted person.
Yes, absolutely. I was really hoping we would get to this as well. That would have been the, icing on the cake of today if we would have gotten to this one.
I think that we have witnessed just modern skepticism, not logicians. So if skeptics work like that, so it would be not very much scientific skepticism.
And not very constructive either, right?
Of course, and not very honest, because if we ask for specific example in this statement, and he doesn't want to show, it is not very honest for me.
Yeah, I think that was very telling. We were 4 people asked him directly to point out the problem, and he couldn't.
He was trying to explain how illicit minor works in general. We don't need this explanation. We need him to point out where it is in this particular example, and he didn't want to do that because he couldn't.
Yeah. It's like Emma said, it's upsetting, because that could have been so much more. I mean, I know for a fact how much more there is here in this server. And it's a pity it never gets to come out. There's no match, not even in logic. Beddy was meant to be the crown prince of logic, globe logic. He came in here to wreck. Well, he initially came over here to destroy some flat earth logic. And I told him, you'll not find any flat earth logic here. It still seems like he's trying, which is embarrassing. Oh, Rumpus is in the chat. It didn't work, did it not, Rumpus? Rumpus, look. Oh, it's embarrassing.
I don't know if it's worth pointing out, but I wrote the first statement on this one as just a true statement. Then the second one as well, just as a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Then the equivocation, obviously vertical equals plumb line. And then I wrote the third one also just as a statement, because this is how we use those tools in reality. And so what I consider the proof is using that axiom 1 to link these statements together underneath there to end up with horizontal equals level. But I still enjoyed the breakdown that you gave, Paper.
Yes, that's how the proof is created, because 3 statements can be true, but they if they have to create proof or syllogism, it has to be link between them, between subjects and predications, and there are links here. so we have proof here, even if they are written as separate statements. In that way, we have subject, predication. In second sentence, we have same subject. So this is link. And in conclusion, we have plum as subject, which was in second sentence. So we have full link, and this link means that this is proof, not because of three separate statements. There is link, and therefore it is a proof.
Have you seen Rumpus in the chat?
Yeah, he's saying the first statement is erroneous somehow.
Yeah. You don't even realize the error you have made in the first line. And the first line, for everybody listening, is vertical is a straight line perpendicular to horizontal. Rumpus thinks there's an error in the statement vertical is a straight line perpendicular to horizontal.
This illicit minor nightmare. This
Yeah.
horizontal. This horizontal will be chasing them forever.
Yeah, that's funny that because the horizontal plane is inherent in nature and vertical is perpendicular to it. So he's saying that I've made a mistake. It's kind of funny because this is just straight out of reality.
This is obviously the new globe. Was this one of Rumpus's 5 rules of the globe that he did?
Oh yeah, you're right.
The other day.
True, yes. Yeah, it goes against Rumpus, one of Rumpus's globe axioms, doesn't it?
Yeah, the axioms of Rumpus. I'd like to see you push this one, Rumpus. Oh, good luck to you.
So we violated his axioms, maybe, in these statements, in this proof. I didn't look at this in that way, but maybe we violated his precious axioms of globe.
Yeah, he equivocated vertical to a radial line and horizontal plane to tangent plane, and obviously doesn't see all of the contradiction and paradoxes it will lead to. But because he did that on a presentation over at Blues, making the globe axioms up on the fly, right? He thinks that reality sort of has to step aside for Rumpus. Here comes Rumpus with some globe statements, and they will just trump everything.
Yeah, everybody has to follow along Rumpus's axioms now. I mean, you know, Rumpus can just go around calling people morons.
So now we have not only spherical geometry, but spherical logic.
Yeah. Yeah, globe logic, globgic.
Global logic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we're really sorry, but I mean, we did notice it, didn't we, when we brought Logical Night out, or Logic Night, where we started formulating simple logic based around vertical and horizontal. And we did notice people starting going a little bit strange. And it's not stopped. Also, the contradictions. There's too many contradictions within a certain model. And I don't want to bash it. I mean, like, this is fantastic proof. And I encourage anybody that's looking at this, see what you can do with it. So, you know, make a statement, make it, voice it out, do some animations, put it together. this, I challenge people to make a simpler proof, linking mathematics to reality, geometry to reality. I'd say this is a perfect Euclidean proof within reality. But obviously people are going to disagree, and they're going to say we're dishonest, and they're going to say all sorts of things. Like Rumpus.
Yeah,
does.
anybody must just feel free to screenshot this off of YouTube right now and take it with you. Look at it, understand it, and if you do, you can build on top of it with further geometry and mathematics. It's, well, to me, this is very interesting, this kind of stuff. So yeah, I encourage anybody to screenshot this and take it for yourself.
Yeah, it's not called Saragaki's proof, but we are going to call it Saragaki's proof. It's a very simple one, but Saragaki's the guy that brought it to us, so therefore it's going to be called Saragaki's proof. Saragaki's proof that triggers globe logicians.
Yeah.
It's a special title. It's a rumpus bothering proof, isn't it?
Very much so. Rumpus took it upon himself to do that presentation, so yeah.
So yeah, I hope, Blue, if you want to get some content out of repeating this and going over it and saying how silly we are, and get Rumpus to do another one of his, maybe he could add another axiom to his globe. Thou shalt not say that level vertical is perpendicular to horizontal. I bet he wants to add at a point somewhere in there.
I will say for a logic night, the YouTube chat is very spicy.
I was going over that idea of at a point yesterday in DMs with I Can Science that. He was bringing that very point forward, and I had to explain to him at that point in time that you can't equivocate between a point and a line. That's a fallacy. And I don't necessarily want to go into much detail of where that conversation went, but they all have to do it. They all have to equivocate those two things. When at a certain point in their process, they have to do it, and it's very obvious once you've had this conversation a lot, like we've had in this Discord.
Rumpus here says, keep advertising Saragaki's proof. So Rumpus's seal of approval. He says it shows flatties know nothing of logic. The first line has a horrendous error, all caps. Keep advertising. Well, Rumpus,
but still he is not naming it as Beddy.
Flatties. We're not flatties. And I don't know whether you think flatties would know nothing about a proof so simple.
I don't even know what a flatty is.
Yeah.
I bet that Rumpus will not say what the error is as Beddy.
Horrendous error, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't fit his model. Yeah, he put further up in the chat that he was going to leave us to figure out the error, so I think you're right. He's not going to actually mention what the error is.
You just leave it to all of the Globers, because then the Globers can follow suit and just say, yeah, well, you just don't understand. You, what? You can't see that error? Yeah, we know all of the tricks, Rumpus, and it's pretty sad. But yeah, thank you very much for the proof. Now, do you mind if anybody else got anything about Saragaki's proof? Good, right. I'm gonna go to. I've got some clips that I wanted to go over last night. We were going over, obviously, the realizing Euclid test that we did last year, me and Spot On. And my lads. I keep forgetting about my lads. Yes, both of my sons were there as well. And me and Spot On. So 4 of us for the day. And I think Spot On's lads came and helped us at the set up his stuff up at the beginning. So we went over that. And yesterday we went over Model Affliction video about a spaghetti scientist, a spaghetti engineer. That anyway, there was some clips and videos that I wanted to put in there to sort of explain what was going on. So I've got a few short clips that I think we can all go over. That go to explain some of these things that we've been talking about. These are only short videos. There's Blue Marble Science, Rumpus, George Nutsack, and some, like, maybe 1 or 2 other people, maybe a bit of Mick Toon in there. But so these clips are just some short clips. Like 5-minute clips at most. Okay, so main screen. Right. How are you guys set in the Discord? Are you all right in there? Can you see the screen I've put up there?
Yes.
This is we were over at Blue Marble Sciences. Obviously, we went over there. SE's there, Rakia, Redman, Buster, Lael. So I'm Paige as well. I'm B-Ball. So yeah, I'll just play this. Let's know if you can hear it. And
do you want the axiom as well? Triangle axiom.
It's all fine, Biff.
Yeah.
For Euclidean geometry, yes. All nice straight lines.
Well, that's what it is, right?
No,
in reality, we use Euclidean.
This is spherical trig and spherical geometry.
No, that's it.
It's not.
Have you heard of a sphere? It's
There's
a
whole world full of
three-dimensional
stuff out here that
Euclidean
you
shape.
don't know about. This just happens to be one of those things.
Blue, have you heard of a three-dimensional Euclidean shape called a sphere? You might have heard of it within Euclidean geometry, because there is no definition for a sphere in spherical geometry, is there?
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. How do you have a sphere in spherical geometry, Blue? How do you do that?
Oh, check this out. Euclid's elements.
I believe it's implied in the name of it.
Euclid's element.
Right. Does it sound good for everybody? You can get that, can you?
Yes.
Okay, now, so we're going over a basic understanding of geometry here. The difference between Euclidean geometry and some concept of some geometry that some people imagine and call spherical geometry. And I'm pointing out that there is no definition, that's like a definition, as you understand, of a sphere in spherical geometry. It doesn't exist. Pretty simple, pretty basic concepts about how geometry works. Now, I doubt it. A lot of people have even put a moment's thought to these sort of things. And that'll be because it's never occurred to you to work out where the model came from. It's a paralogism that you just should never look at. Don't even consider these sort of thoughts. We gotta listen to this.
Yeah. Euclid's
That was a
elements.
pretty weak answer.
Yeah.
Definition number 15. The axis of a sphere is a straight line which remains fixed and about which the semicircle is turned.
Mm-hmm.
Euclid's definition 15.
Yeah.
What book?
That's a three-dimensional shape, right?
6.
Book
six.
11.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Book 11. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So what's the?
Oh.
What are the first two definitions in that book?
I'm only. It only. The one I'm looking at only shows. I'm at 14. I don't see anything before that.
Oh, right. It says length, breadth, and height, thickness. That's the 3 dimensions, and then it says the surface is that which bounds it.
Now give us the definition within spherical geometry for a sphere.
Yep.
It keeps getting bounced between 2D and 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So who's correct? Which one?
Well, give us the definition within spherical geometry of a sphere, please.
Cool.
Spherical geometry is the geometry
I think of
a two-dimensional surface of a sphere.
Okay. So
Conceptual.
what's a sphere then? In that.
In this context, the word sphere refers only to the two-dimensional surface. Other terms like ball or solid sphere are used for the surface together. It's three-dimensional interior.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one I posted earlier. Yep, that's a good one.
Of the Euclidean shape then, right? Here you go. There's a problem. Blue Marble Science. His sphere is only 2D. Because the 3D sphere is Euclidean. That's the sphere that everybody knows. The sphere that you can pick up and hold. Football. It's a 3-dimensional sphere. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about some sort of weird concept that a sphere is a 2D thing. And as everybody knows, 2Ds are a plane. So there's a little bit of mind thing you have to do once you enter this model geometry.
This is very strange that 2D surface and you cannot draw a straight line on it.
Mm-hmm.
This is very strange.
Yeah. It's obviously conceptual, isn't it?
Yes, but this concept is very awkward.
Yeah. Here we go. Because, I mean, this, once you start down this Elenchus trip, where you start asking questions, the questions get avoided, but then you start simplifying to try and make it even easier. Because obviously, a sphere is hard within a spherical geometry when the concept of spherical geometry is 2D. You obviously can't have a sphere in that. There we go.
So in that case, we don't live on a sphere, we live on a solid sphere.
Euclidean,
right.
three-dimensional sphere, right? So you have to use Euclidean geometry, not spherical.
Oh, you get to use spherical geometry.
How does that work?
It's
not very logical thinking you guys got going on.
I think that was a bit of a nervous laugh from Blue. He's just got one of his friends just told him that they don't live on a 2D sphere. They live on the 3D Euclidean sphere.
Definitely
You can
nervous.
still have the 2D geometry on a 3D sphere, which sounds a little bit ridiculous to me.
Yep. Same nervous laugh as Ike in Science app, by
Yeah.
the way. Same kind of nervous laugh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So who's correct? Are you guys correct?
Yeah.
Or is the rest of geometry correct?
What do you mean? Geometry?
Yeah, we're correct.
So there's no such thing as spherical geometry?
Go on, what's your definition of a square?
That's okay. They don't understand it.
Just give us your definition of a square in spherical geometry, will you?
No point in going any further with this.
Yeah, it's cool.
Come on,
It's
B-Ball.
just simple denial.
Just give us a quick square. A quick square. Come on, B-Ball.
Have you rewritten the books, Bev?
I'd like you to.
Should we all go with you?
Just send
with
us
your definitions.
Just give us the definition of a square
in spherical geometry for us?
I don't think that. Why? What's the point of that question?
It would show us what you know about your spherical geometry that you want to claim. Right? Now, as Emma just pointed out, where is B-Ball? Where's he been? He used to be big in this thing. And now what's he done? He got his auto level and he seems to have gone missing.
I think he quit.
Yeah.
I think he did. That stream I was on. I got a whiff that was his last live stream. He was going through all his old videos. I think that was the end. He's moving or doing something, and he was moving on.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole gist of it, but
yeah, good luck, people. You're obviously better suited somewhere else. This wasn't for you.
Yeah, his wife was on the string, his kids, all that was on there. It was like he has a beautiful family and was happy and just going through his videos. But I challenged him. He told his son that there were no satellites on balloons and things like NASA didn't have a balloon program. And I said, B-Ball, why would you tell your son that on live stream? Like, why would you deceive your son like that? And I challenged him. I said, why don't you tell your son to go get on the internet and research the balloon program that NASA has, see if satellites are hanging from it. And he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I also challenged him on his taking a red line, like taking a picture, putting a red line under it that's crooked, where the right side has more water, like from the red line to the water is 1 inch and the left side is 1/2 inch, and then squishing that picture and then going, look, the right side is taller and the left side is lower. Look, Earth curve.
He was the king of the compressed
photos that aren't even. Like, it's a slope.
Could compress a photo like he could.
He's squishing it and going, look, Earth curve, the slope is Earth curve. And I kept challenging him to go back and just hold on that one picture again, and he wouldn't do it. Just a deceiver, man.
Well, I mean, he's gone on to better things, so I don't want to dwell upon that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I wish him, like I said, beautiful family, and I guess he's doing what he believes in or what he's told to do or told to believe in, whichever it is. That's his business, but that was B-Ball.
There's a nice sort of bit of dynamic coming in here because obviously I've asked B-Ball for the definition of a square within his spherical geometry, which is the geometry of a 2-dimensional surface. So you would expect a square to be really easily defined on this spherical surface of 2D geometry that they've got. So I've asked B-Ball, and well done. Here comes Blue. Listen to this.
Square.
Yeah.
A square or a solid square?
A square. Just a square. A solid square. That's nice, isn't it? I mean, well done, whoever that was. I'm going to go back a second or two. Yeah. Just a square.
See, this is the part where when they say you don't understand, but we do because we've looked into this and read quite a bit about it.
You do, but you deny parts of geometry. That's the problem.
Give us the definition of a square, please, B-Ball. Go on.
A lot more complicated in spherical.
Don't be stalling.
Isn't it, Biff?
Pardon?
It says spherical geometry is not complicated.
Because if you want to define a square as an object that has only 90-degree internal angles.
Uh-huh.
Square in spherical geometry could have 3 sides, 4 sides, or 5 sides.
Oh, yes. A square? What? Yeah. That's blue marble science.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Do you want me to hear again? Look.
Yes,
right,
please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I initially asked B-Ball for the definition of a square within his spherical geometry. Here comes
Grandpappy Blue.
Internal angles.
Uh-huh.
Complicated in spherical.
No, you do, but you deny parts of geometry. That's the problem.
Give us the definition of a square, please, B-Ball. Go on.
A lot more complicated in spherical.
Don't be stalling.
Isn't it, Biff?
Pardon?
It says spherical geometry is not complicated.
Because you know, if you want to define a square as an object that has only 90-degree internal angles.
Uh-huh.
Square in spherical geometry could have 3 sides, 4 sides, or 5 sides.
3 sides, 4 sides, or 5 sides.
Wow.
Only? Why not 6?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you'll
How
have
about
to
2?
Ask, you'll have to ask Blue Marble Science. I mean, yeah, it could have 1.
Dang.
I suppose, if you were good enough.
Well, I will say the one truth that Blue did say there is it's definitely complicated. that is some complicated shit right there.
Yeah. In order for you to come up with a proof of that, a square having multiply different sides. I don't know. It sounds fantastical to me, but I mean, we'll let Blue explain this.
What?
What?
Sure about that?
No way.
Absolutely.
By the way, I didn't mean a solid square. I meant a solid cube.
Let's give us the definition then of a square. Come on, because
square on the surface of a sphere could have 3 sides, 4 sides, or 5 sides.
All right, a 3 or 4 or 5-sided shape
is having only 90-degree internal angles.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Now, if you want to define it otherwise,
yeah.
If you want to say it's a 4-sided together,
yeah,
only works in plane
the problem
geometry.
is, so pull up these.
We said if you want to define it as a 4-sided shape, that only works. I'll put it back again.
But still, he thrown out triangles, spherical triangles, because if square has
only the ones with 90 degrees though, right?
Yes.
It is only the ones with 90 degrees.
It means that you cannot do a triangulation on in spherical geometry because there are no triangles.
Square, a squangulation. But listen what he says about the 4-sided ones.
If you want to say it's a 4-sided together,
yeah,
only works in plane geometry.
So if you want to say it's a 4-sided square, that only works in planar geometry, even though he's just said 3, 4, or 5. But I mean, hey, Blue Marble Science, he has a Discord server. Blue Marble Science Discord, adult Discord.
And there's science in the title.
Yeah, if you want to know exactly how the 3, 4, or 5-sided square works in spherical geometry, shoot on over to Blue Marble Science. I'm sure he will be able to put you right about that. There's only 30-odd seconds of this left.
Pull up these definitions.
If you can have a great...
You guys agree with certain definitions, but you deny other ones.
If you have a great circle, right? If you divide that into 4, could you call that a square?
No, you connect.
That'd be 4 straight lines connected together with an angle.
Oh, Alien has posted it right there.
That 4-sided shape.
Little GIF he's got going on.
It's funny, in his book of the elements, he calls it line.
3 sides. All the angles are 90 degrees. There's only 3 of them.
There you go. There's only 3 of them. Right, let me find some more I've got.
Wait a minute. What GIF was he talking about? The one where the
with
guy's drawing on the ball with the pencil?
Yeah. He's on a polystyrene ball.
Well, wait a minute. He's saying that's a square?
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't I heard before someone say that's a spherical triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's thrown out. He has thrown out triangles from his geometry.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
That's fantastic.
This globe
This
geometry
is science.
is fantastic. Yeah, this is how science is done.
This is real
2022.
science
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
What have we got? I've got Blue Talks plain LIGO. Where's that? Blue Talks plain LIGO. Here we go. 5-minute video. Nobody. Are you guys still watching that, or did it close it down? Is it?
I'm still seeing it.
It says now
Blue
Blue
Talks
Talks
plain
plain
LIGO.
LIGO. Nice, that's good. So that swaps the videos over, right? Okay, these are all of the words of the people that are involved in all of these things that we're talking about, right? So this is obviously from back when we were talking to Blue. We went over to Blue server to have a few good chats within this, and obviously the conversations about Blue stuff. We go. So I mean, this is Blue talking about LIGO.
If you want to call the
on pictures or anything, it's been good.
if you want to call the elevation data into question, Bev, that's up to you. All I've got to go by are the as-built drawings.
Yeah, I'm just going off logic, Blue. It's on the XY axis, so you'd presume that that's the horizontal plane. Me, anyway.
I presume they could set the plane anywhere they want to set it, as the report says, to minimize site costs. That's construction costs.
I just have that X and Y as the horizontal plane, and the Z axis is the vertical change in height, elevation change. It's pretty simple.
There's definite elevation change.
Not on the arms.
Yeah. On the arms.
Is that to keep it on the horizontal plane?
Does you talk about a horizontal plane.
Yeah, I know.
Two arms
It's
form a
tricky, isn't it?
plane.
Whereas, and that the major bone of contention is that I call that a horizontal plane, but you have a model that dictates there is no such thing as a horizontal plane. Geometrically, on your model. But not in reality.
You can call it what you like, but you got two 2.5 mile long tubes joined at one end effectively.
You can call it what you like. After that silence, I just made myself through, so that's why I was away for a bit too long. Are you liking this? Blue says you can call it what you like. After just being told that his model dictates that there are no such thing as a horizontal plane. Not much of a rebuttal. Yeah, that again. But not in reality.
You can call it what you like, but you got two 2.5 mile long tubes joined at one end effectively. 90-degree angles to one another. And those two arms define a plane. That plane could be tangent to the earth, any place. So specifically, it's somewhere within the triangle formed by the vertex and the two ends. Ever identify exactly where that is?
And yes, that's right. It seems like blue only has one tangent. He didn't bring that up to FE Dogma, did he?
And not separated arms.
And he said he doesn't know where it is. It's not been defined. This was back like a year ago or something like that. So they might have found out new information. This is when FE Dogma was doing his video about LIGO. Probably in response to these sort of chats that we were having. But yeah, I'll put it back again. Let's listen to this again.
Specifically, it's somewhere within the triangle formed by the vertex and the two ends. Ever identify exactly where that is?
They've never identified exactly where that is. Yeah, FE Dogma put one at each end of the one of the arms. So FE Dogma definitely identified where they are. I'm pretty sure that we've had a few good discussions over these last few weeks about where FE Dogma did put them and where he didn't put them, and separating one tangent point from one arm and not having it on the other arm. Wonder why Blue didn't bother telling him that they'd not found out, or why he didn't bother telling Blue that they have found and where they are out. It's amazing.
Yeah, like that. That's the way I have a perfect example of Euclidean 3 space.
Those awkward silences are almost deafening, aren't they?
He didn't know what to say.
Yeah. I'm just showing him an XYZ graph laid over the top of LIGO. It's a little bit strange.
I'm sure they're having a huddle right now at Blue Ops. How are we going to get out of this one? We gotta save Beddy.
This is a deathly silence.
So
Still
you
playing.
guys don't have that. Like I'm just reading your chat. They even, Rakir was saying, they even call them the X and Y arms. I mean, surely that's what they mean, right?
I don't know where that came from, Biff.
What, the X and Y arms?
Put that on there. Does that come from LIGO?
No, I put it on there. Because that's what it is. The X and the Y and the Z. I may have got the X and the Y the wrong way around. I don't know. Like Rakia said, I don't know which arm it
Well, you're the one that put them on there. Why'd you put them on there the wrong way around?
Just because it's X and Y. And Z, just because it shows that Euclidean 3 space.
Well, I've not seen a drawing from LIGO calling either arm an X or a Y. Calling the west arm and the east arm. And all of the...
Did you hear that? What does he call them? Put it back again. He's complaining about the X and the Y and the Z of me labelling it with an X and a Y.
Yes, because I don't know, because this is silly, just silly.
Listen to what he says, what he calls them. He doesn't like X and Y being perpendicular.
Drawing from LIGO calling either arm an X or a Y. Calling the west arm and the east arm.
So the X and Y being perpendicular explains the X and the Y, right? Because the arms are perpendicular. Can anybody tell me the relationship between east and west? Anyone?
Not perpendicular.
Not perpendicular. So Blue has a problem with me labeling them X and Y, and he wants to call them East and West. Because that makes clarity to the issue, doesn't it?
Obviously.
All of the as-bills.
What, West and East?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're perpendicular, right?
One's called the West, one's called the East.
Double down.
You sure about that? West and East? Wouldn't it be like West and North or South? And East and North and South? Because they're L-shaped, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean? The arms are perpendicular to one another. How is East perpendicular to West? That's weird.
Open up the as-built files.
Oh no, I get it. It sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm with you, Rob. It does sound weird, that. For him to do that does sound...
All engineers do weird things once in a while.
There you go. All engineers do weird things once in a while.
That was something.
Shout
out, Rob.
These videos have been going. I went through them yesterday and I thought, oh, this is going to be quite good fun.
That was Rob. That was Rob Keane for the win right there.
Yeah. Rob slides in from the left.
What's this one called? George Talks Auto Levels. Theodolite water level accuracy. Oh, right here. You're still on there. It's not clicked us off. George Talks auto level theodolite. Yeah, you good on that one?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Well, like I say, if you have both a 1 arcsecond theodolite and a 1 arcsecond auto level, they're equivalent. One will not be better than the other one.
Over what distance?
Over the same distance, or whatever distance you want to, use. I mean,
so
one does not have a distance capability better than the other one.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
For establishing a horizontal?
Yeah.
Let's say 400 meters. How accurate could you be at setting a horizontal?
That would be, well, tell me what kind of theodolite you have. If it's a 1 arcsecond theodolite,
I'm asking
say
you,
what?
What's the most
I'm
accurate?
telling you. Okay, with the theodolites that I use, it's a 1 arcsecond theodolite. So I could set at what you say, 400 meter?
Yeah.
At 400 meters, I would be able to set things within, excuse me, I'm getting dry. I'd be able to set it into within 1 arcsecond, which at 400 meters would be in a vertical height of 12.6 millimeters.
All of the budding globe geometers should know what the 400 meter numbers are, especially if they've been swatting up on the Ruhif numbers. 400 meters is on the Sly-Sparkane scale of the drop of the water level. Sorry, the Jesse Kozlowski drop scale. I mean, he's back. Jesse Kozlowski dropped, and that's what George has said. The accuracy over 400 meters is 12.6 millimeters.
He's going to correct himself in a minute. 12.6.
Yeah.
That's your accuracy.
Yes.
Wow,
at 400 meters.
That's cool. The accuracy of your crosshair on the horizontal.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. God, I'm getting tired, Beth. Back up. That was wrong. that was something else I was thinking about.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was. He was thinking about the Ruhif numbers. That's what he was thinking of, not the setting accuracy of a tool. George is just making stuff up. Anybody listening, Rumpus? You know George is making stuff up as well, don't you? Listen to
Maybe
this.
George is listening. He's on YouTube chat.
Yeah. George will remember this. Perhaps. I don't know. Don't know what his memory's like. Feeding you the wrong information there, right?
What do you mean, somebody? There's nobody here.
Have you not still got your Skype line open to Rumpus?
No, shit. Rumpus went to bed long time ago. Oh, let's see.
That is right. George checks up on Rumpus's bedtime.
For 1 arc second is, let's see, that's 4.848 microradians, and at 400 meters, that's 1.9 millimeters.
What, you can be 1.9 millimeter accurate with a horizontal over 400 meters?
Well, that's what you're asking for. I mean,
no,
that's
I'm asking you with what tool would be the most accurate over 400 meters?
I'm saying they both, for a 1 arc second instrument, they would both be able to get you within 2 millimeters, 1.9 millimeters.
No way.
Yeah. For a horizontal, but the thing is,
that's right, people. George is claiming for over 400 meters, he can get within 2 millimeters from horizontal. That's pretty accurate, isn't it? Especially seeing he's just mentioned the Ruhif numbers that state 12.6 millimeters over that far. So it should be really easy for Rumpus or George to set up a 400 meter level and show the drop of the water level. Some phenomenal tools they've got nowadays. 400 meters, 2 millimeters, says George.
Is you're going to also have to work in earth curve on that particular measurement going that far out. If you go that far out,
horizontal. Why do you need to figure in earth curve to a horizontal?
0.78. Just a minute, I'm going to tell you something here. At 400 meters, at 400 meters, the earth curve is about 12.6 millimeters, so you're going to have to add that in.
Add it into a horizontal. Where do you add it in?
Well, if you're taking your auto level, say, and you set it up at a certain height, and you want to shoot the same height out at 400 meters, when you sight a mark at 400 meters with that auto level, for that mark to be at a horizontal with the first mark, you're going to have to move it up 12.6 millimeters.
I sometimes feel a little bit sorry for George. Like, how would you move a horizontal in an auto level up 12.6 millimeters? I mean, George has never done any surveying either, has he?
And these 12 millimeters, it would fit within a margin of error. So this would be very convenient.
Look, Blue Marble's saying, I'm the one conflating instrument. George is saying it, Blue. Do you want me to go back again? Listen to what he says.
The Earth curve is about 12.6 millimeters, so you're going to have to add that in.
Add it into a horizontal. Where do you add it in?
Well, if you're taking your arm level, say, and you set it up at a certain height, and you want to shoot the same height out at 400 meters, when you sight a mark at 400 meters with that auto level, for that mark to be at a horizontal with the first mark, you're going to have to move it up 12.6 millimeters from what the auto level is shooting at.
Sorry. Say that again. Like, wait a minute. Okay. The auto level is establishing a horizontal. And then you have to lift that up 12.6.
Just a minute. I'm getting so tired here.
I know.
Hang on. Okay, you want to shoot a horizontal. Okay, I'm sorry. God dang. Let me think here. I'm sorry, Bev. I'm just really getting tired.
Oh, dear, Blue. George just apologised. Did you just say I was doing something then, Blue? Let me go back and let's see what Blue just commented. Because he did seem to say something. He said, lol, now Bev conflates instrument accuracy and Earth curvature. No. George just told us that we set a horizontal, and then in order to make a horizontal, we have to lift it up 12.6 mil. Seems like you're getting all mixed up here, Blue. Calm down. In the chat. I mean, come on.
Want to shoot a horizontal? Yeah. You could, backing up, that horizontal could be set up to within about 2 meters or 2 millimeters if you didn't have refraction that you had to take into account.
Take into account refraction over.
Yeah, if you had refraction over 400 meters, you're not going to pick up a whole lot of refraction, but you could maybe have some, but not likely to really significantly change things. So I'd say you could probably set yourself up within 3 millimeters at 100 or at 400.
With which one?
Well, I'm saying I would give myself a little more range for margin for error, and rather than say 2, I'd probably go with 3.
Okay, 3 mil, and that's with the theodolite and the auto level.
Correct. A 1 arc second instrument, one that is capable.
An optical instrument.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what do you reckon? How accurate would a water level be?
Well, I've never seen one of these micrometer water levels that you guys claim are available. If that's available, it should be.
Let's take the micrometer off, right? Just have a normal basic water level. How accurate would that be?
I wouldn't guess that could be better than. I wouldn't want to push it more than 1 millimeter, I would think.
Okay, well, but that would be more accurate then.
Yeah.
Okay, so over distance.
Oh wait, no, not for a horizontal, for level. No.
So George just said that the water level would be more accurate than his tools.
Yes, but for level, not for horizontal.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, if you could count up and measure up, right, from whatever they have, because they've got measurements, and if the water level is a tool for establishing level and it's more accurate, then you just put a tape measure on it, don't you? You know, you've done your calculations. It's bound to be more accurate. Even if you have to go to the maths. I mean, maths is even more accurate to them. So, I mean, it's well worth noting that it is definitely measurable and it's more accurate. I can't imagine why they're not going more of it. How to measure the drop? Is that George? Oh. Here we go. Oh, this one's only 43 seconds.
That's essentially what Rumpus is doing in the canal. The canal is essentially his long water level.
Yeah. So all he does is he measures 6 miles. He says the water level will drop this much from that end. So I'll just measure up from there, put a thing, and then go, well, look at that. I'll measure that down. Wow, there's a drop. That's how much the water level drops. Genius.
Exactly. You finally got it. Yeah. Damn. Yes.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going on. Set a horizontal.
That's exactly what's going on, right? Do you want to hear that again, right?
Yes.
That's George's idea of what's going on.
And he was so happy you finally got it.
Yeah. Now listen exactly to what I say.
That's essentially what Rumpus is doing in the canal. The canal is essentially his long water level.
Yeah. So all he does is he measures 6 miles. He says the water level will drop this much from that end. So I'll just measure up from there, put a thing, and then go, well, look at that. I'll measure that down. Wow, there's a drop. That's how much the water level drops. Genius.
Exactly. You finally got it. Yeah. Damn. Yes.
Bam.
So what I was basically explaining there was Rumpus has got, he's got his flag, right? And he can go, 17 feet. So let's make a stick 17 feet tall, and I'll put it there, and then say, whoa, 17 feet stick. That's exactly how much drop we'd imagine. Wow, there you go, proved it. And George says, yeah, that's exactly what Rumpus is doing. He's measuring up and then measuring it down again and just saying, look, there's a stick that's 17 feet long. That's how they measure the drop of the water level. It's genius. I don't know. I think that's why Rumpus is not putting his video out. Is that right, Rumpus? Is that how you're doing your test? You're trying to sneak it around? Or maybe you just want, you're waiting until you get an auto level. And you can then say, well, the auto level, 17 feet stick. Look, we measured it, 17 feet. So that's good to know, everybody. Rumpus, put your test out and put a video out, and then we might know. Because I think that's what everybody's going to have an idea of now. That's what you're going to do. Level only level in the center. Here we go. This one.
Okay, I have a question. Let's say we have a spirit level. Let's say, George, it's 6 foot long spirit level.
Yeah.
Is it level at all points? In other words, the middle and the 2 ends, are they level?
Technically not, no. Only the center, where the bubble is in the window that you look at. That establishes your level at that point. But technically speaking, if you had a spirit level, say that was 2 miles long in each direction from your bubble, and you hung a plumb line in the middle, it would hang vertical and perpendicular to your spirit level. But if you went out 2 miles, for example, and hung your plumb line, it would not be perpendicular to your spirit level. Actually, in order to detect that difference, you'd really have to go out much more than 2 miles, because the curvature of the Earth and the verticals only change 1 degree every 69 miles. So even for a 2 mile spirit level, you'd never ever be able to detect that the verticals are a little bit different and not perpendicular to the spirit level. That's the problem, because the Earth is so huge.
So that's what we were saying before. You guys think that level is only at one certain point.
No.
You just said,
interpreting.
George,
Level,
you just said as much.
No, I did not. You misinterpreted.
Listen,
level,
SC.
So the level's only level at one point now. Or George was perhaps getting mixed up between level and horizontal and getting confused, because a level is obviously a straight line. And the spirit level's obviously a straight line. So that would be called horizontal, but level. And it's only level at one point. So it does get very confusing, doesn't it? Can you remember
Just
that
a
one,
touch.
Essie?
Yeah, I remember.
Like the amount of times we've had these conversations, and I was getting told the other day by I Can Science that, while he was sciencing the shit out of level, that people have told us things about level. Well, so many contradictory things that people have said to us that don't seem to make any sense. And I hope these people aren't advising I Can Science that.
Yep, they do it all the time. Remember the 5-sided square?
The 3, 4, or 5-sided square.
Blue extended that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I asked them both in the chat. Blue didn't answer, but Rumpus said, of course not. It's only 4 sides and anybody can make a mistake. Because I asked him, do you believe some ballers think you can have a 5-sided square? And Rumpus said no. So shout out to Rumpus. And admitting that some ballers, well, you know, like everybody else, they make mistakes. But Blue believes we can have a 3, 4, or 5-sided square, ladies and gentlemen.
A couple of short ones here now.
I think this is where the confusion starts. You use a water level to create a horizontal, but what he doesn't understand is that the term level is for a constant elevation. And because the water level gives a horizontal, he's all confused. Because by that sort of that combination of words.
Water level does give a horizontal now then, right?
No one's disputed it didn't.
Okay.
Please,
That's brilliant.
Specifically,
do you want to hear that again? And I'm talking specifically to I Can Science that. Because no doubt Rumpus was saying something to him the other day. This is only a 25-second clip. Listen to it again.
I think this is where the confusion starts. You use a water level to create a horizontal, but what he doesn't understand is that the term level is for a constant elevation. And because the water level gives a horizontal, he's all confused. Because by that sort of that combination of words.
Water level does give a horizontal now then, right?
No one's disputed it didn't.
Okay.
Please,
that's brilliant.
Specifically,
nobody has disputed it didn't.
surprisingly enough. Rumpus, any comments? Any
Rumpus
comments
gets
from
honest.
I Can Science That as well? Because no doubt, I bet Rumpus told you something different. Seeing as we were talking about our test, the realizing Euclid.
Maybe it just slipped.
Mm-hmm. Blue
Everyone
marbles
can
going
make
back.
mistake, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps Rumpus forgot that he talked out of both sides of his mouth about whether level is horizontal or not. I'll play this one again, just in case I Can Science That and anybody else out there is listening. Right? To some people that have called me a liar, they've called me dishonest. Just listen to what Rumpus says.
I think this is where the confusion starts. You use a water level to create a horizontal, but what he doesn't understand is that the term level is for a constant elevation. And because the water level gives a horizontal, he's all confused because by that sort of that combination of words.
Water level does give a horizontal now then, right?
No one's disputed it didn't.
Okay.
Hey,
That's brilliant.
Specifically,
No one has disputed it didn't.
But now it's disputed.
Yeah, I think I just got somebody was calling me dishonest. Even Rumpus was there talking in the back rooms, talking to I Can Science That, telling him all sorts of things about what a water level isn't. But I bet he didn't bother saying that nobody had ever contested the fact that a water level establishes a horizontal. Rather embarrassing, Rumpus, I'd say. Now check this one out. This is another one, Rumpus again.
Yeah, and straight lines in spherical geometry on the surface of a sphere are curved.
Is that the geometry we use in reality,
yeah, that's
Rumpus?
What we've got the problem with.
Is that what we use in reality, Rumpus?
It depends what you were to talk about. It's not.
Rumpus, please,
If you're
just answer the
about a map
question.
of this, yeah, I'm listening. I understand the question. In the 3D world, straight lines are not curved. Yeah, and straight lines in spherical geometry on the surface of a sphere are curved. In the 3D world, straight lines are not curved.
Right, okay. So if we're surveying and we're using a horizontal, that's definitely a straight line, isn't it? Like a real straight line.
Yes,
like
yes.
like not curved line at all. It's a straight line.
Yes.
Okay.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done for pointing out the 1 + 1 is equal to 2.
Okay, now last question. The water level has 2 points at each end where the water level is. Now, if you were to join one end of that point of the water level to the other end of the point of the water level, would that be a straight line?
Of course it was. This is what I drew this about, an hour ago for you?
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rumpus.
Yeah, and straight lines in spherical geometry on the surface of a sphere are curved. In the 3D world, straight lines are not curved. Yeah, and straight lines in spherical geometry on the surface of a sphere are curved. In the 3D world, straight lines are not curved. Straight lines are not curved. Straight lines are not curved.
So, what do you reckon to these little clips I've got? I've got loads of them. They're sat all over the place. I've clipped loads of these little bits out like this.
And water level is not on the surface of the earth. It's above.
Yeah, and it would be a straight line. And they do establish horizontals. And like Rumpus has said, horizontals in the real world are straight.
Rumpus knows the score. He just has to defend the globe.
Well, he's not really defending the globe, is he? He's lying to somebody to get somebody else to say something that he can't say himself. I get the feeling that there's a person out there that has been used
by Rumpus. Rumpus has lied to a certain person. And that's only because we were talking to him recently about a realizing Euclid test, about straight lines and planes.
That's why he came in to save him.
I bet he's frantic now, Rumpus is. What's he doing?
Uh-oh.
Let's have a look at this.
Rumpus was the mastermind.
Let's see. We get the definitions. Let's have a look. Rumpus says, put this in here. Rumpus says, water levels are used to show 2 points are at the same elevation. A line between two rises is horizontal. Oh, it's changed now for the midpoint between the two ends. Well, that's handy, because if there's a horizontal point in the middle, it obviously shows that all the way across that line would be horizontal. Rumpus. Or has the globe narrative changed since you gave us those other clips? Saying a horizontal line is not been disputed. It's not in dispute. I'll put it in the chat in case anybody wants to download it. It's only a 25-second clip.
Stark Otter gave it a thumbs up. 100% agreement.
With Rumpus. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Horizontal water level for Rumpus. It was, wasn't it? Oh, we've got Rumpus and the nutsack drop as well. I'll play that one.
I wonder if Rumpus agrees with George on the water level thing. If they're not level in respect to the center and either end. What do you think, Rumpus?
Rumpus and the horizontal water level. Oh, right, there you go. If anybody wants to, I don't see the Rumpus and the nutsack drop. Going for the big nutsack drop.
That's a twattish remark. You'll be demonstrating the drop with
Yeah,
Rect is designed.
it's the nutsack drop. I mean, Paid NASA Shield says it's globe proof. You're going to go and help prove the globe by doing the nutsack drop.
Exactly. The drop is going to demonstrate.
We're going to get a dance
George,
going and
how can
everything.
you say those things?
I don't understand why you don't hook up with Paid NASA.
You're trained. How can you not use your head?
George is a lot more active again. It's good to see that you've got yourself better, George. So we're going over these points about horizontal, mainly about the horizontal, to establish a baseline for us to go from, whether that is actually straight or not straight. There seems to be a group of people. They seem to be of a certain age, and I think they're losing some faculties, and they're not quite in the prime, let's say. And this horizontal and vertical and perpendicularity seems to be a little bit troubling for them. And on top of that, there seems to be a youth element that are just more sprightly. They're faster, they're sharper, their brains are more in tune. And it's troubling these elder gentlemen.
Yeah, the young kids are not buying what they're selling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Can't be lied that easily anymore. They have the internet.
The globe salesman it's an old profession. Not so sure anybody's buying them anymore. And they're very competitive, the globe salesmen, at the minute.
They're rusting in the warehouses.
Rumpus, you know you haven't said that. Don't be going round now saying that the lies that you've told I can science that. Don't be trying to justify them in the chat here. Everybody can see them, Rumpus. Everybody can see what you're doing. It's shameful. This is all you've got. I'd be embarrassed if I was a Glober right now. I'd be out of here. This is the best you've got. You know, literally. Coming to hassle people who are talking about geometric proofs, linking them to reality. It's embarrassing for you and your model. Mobius, I think Mobius is going to go and have a word with Blue soon. That'll be the next one. I was hoping more for Beddy. I did title the today's show, Are There Proofs in Paraconsistent Logic? And I think we've shown that that's probably one of the signs that lets you know whether what type of logical system people are working under. Ask them, do they have any proofs? If they reply, there are no proofs, you can be pretty certain that person is going to employ paraconsistent logic. I'd say anyway. And paraconsistent logic being logic that has a complete set of exploded axioms. You can literally make anything happen within paraconsistent logic. It's a way to justify contradictions. You obviously know people that are like this. A lot of people do. It's one of those things, though, that there isn't a word for. Strangely enough, some of these things that we deal with in daily life, they've taken the words away. So there isn't really anything to describe it. And when you find these words, it becomes very clear why they've been taken out of usage. Paraconsistent logic being one of these things. Well, they take logic out of the knowledge process, and they turn it into something that it probably isn't. I mean, who knows what logic is now? Logic is, in a conversational sense, you often hear, by your logic, that means, well, I don't think there is a your logic and a my logic.
There is only one logic in the world.
So that's a way for them to use this. There isn't a word for this, but there will definitely be. That word would be the thing that we're trying to call this technique of using words to get around the use of that word. They try and redefine it. Right.
I would say that this is part of sophistry.
Yeah, I think it is there's got to be a name for it, where they, in order to stop the argument, they redefine the word, and then always discuss the redefinition of the word rather than the argument that's based around it. There's some sort of a technique that needs to be named in there.
It's kind of strawman because they are moving goalpost from topic to definition of the topic. So this is kind of strawman, I think.
I think
or,
there's
or red herring.
There's something that's called a definition shift paralogism, and it's got to be linked up in that, because to them, they have done that, right? They have a definition shift, but it's hidden within a paralogism on their behalf, and it's a different definition than yours.
Yes, definitely, yes. They have different meaning of the same word, but they are not telling that they changed definition.
Yeah, and they can't define it either, right? It's just not that. But there's never a redefinition as to, so you can be specific and put your finger on it, right? There's...
Yes, that's why they can escape Socratian method, because they haven't got any definitions, so you cannot pinpoint them on some definitions.
And yeah, I can see the guys in the chat should be pointing out, you can't have a horizontal at a point, because a horizontal is a line or a plane, and you definitely need more than one point in order to establish a line or a plane.
Yes, and beside this, if you vertical line meets horizontal line, it means that this one point is shared with horizontal and vertical. So this point is also vertical and horizontal at the same time. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it does prove how ridiculous an argument that they're having to come up with. And somehow they seem very confident. So what they've done is they've justified it within their own mind. And this argument that they've come up with that doesn't seem to make any sense to anybody else, or at least I can't make any sense out of it.
Yes, and in addition to that, the point of intersection, it would be vertex of an angle. This is the only point you cannot take measurement of the angle from. This is the only point you cannot do that. So it's make it more funny.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous that they've had to come to this. But like I say, we are moving away from this. Because you can only argue, it's not even an argument, isn't it? You can only talk to people who deny horizontals for so long, because they're always going to imagine that they're winning whatever it is that they imagine is going on. They seem to live in their own world, a small little corner of the internet where they obsess over a concept. But the bubble on the level would be infinitely larger than the horizontal it's measuring. Which is right. I don't know where, where do we go in this
arena, because it seems that the people we're talking to can't even enter a discussion about what the tool is, and what the difference between plumb and vertical and level and horizontal are, because they're both perpendicular to each other, as Saragaki's proof shows. Things that are equal to each other, or equal to the same thing, are equal to each other. I can't wait to get working on those sort of proofs and things.
I bet that they will not show any error in that statement or in that proof. But Rumpus is repeating himself, was repeating himself, that this is huge, horrendical error in this first sentence. But I bet he will never name it.
Mobius has got some pictures of some offset spirit levels with the bubble. That, I bet that's driving the Globers crazy. He's like, how could that possibly be? The bubble isn't in the middle. But that's the only place it's level. And now the bubble isn't even there. Yeah, I'm doing the, I'm cutting the 6 minute, I think it's about a 6 minute spaghetti on a cell phone, realizing Euclid proof of the model Afflicted. It's very good, very informative.
And very cheap.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't count the £1,000 cell phone.
No, we don't mention that.
Just the spaghetti. Yeah. And I like the idea that the mobile phone is a device that's used to establish planes. Somebody, I don't know who advised him on that, or advised him on what a plane is. I've got a clip here. I'll get that. You guys, cause I've put it in the video, but I didn't put all of it in because it wouldn't all fit in. Plane. Oh, where did that go? Oh, I appear to have. Let me just check this. Just says planes. Okay. So, what's everybody think about over the last few days then, right? What's going on? And what do you reckon we can expect coming? I know Mobius is meant to be talking to Blue, but I can't see how Blue could talk to Mobius about anything like this, really.
I would say that it's about this so-called level experiment, because I think many people want to think, to make other people think that your experiment would be inconclusive, and anyway, it would not show that the straight line is straight and the horizontal is level, and so on. I think it's for that, to make people have some bias about that.
Oh no, there it is. There you go. Planes. Check this out. This would be good for going over. So it says it is difficult to draw planes since the edges have to be drawn. When you see a picture that represents a plane, always remember that it is actually has no edges and is infinitely large. A plane does not have edges. The plane has two dimensions, length and width. But since the plane is infinitely large, the length and width cannot be measured. Just as a line is defined by 2 points, a plane is defined by 3 points. Given 3 points that are not collinear, there is just one plane that contains all three. Parallel planes. It says you can think of parallel planes as sheets of cardboard, one above the other, with a gap between them. Parallel planes are the same distance apart everywhere, so they never touch. Simple. Most people understand that. I think. I hope most people would understand that, right? I think we're going to have to keep saying it, though. I'm pointing out that a cell phone isn't a plane. It doesn't establish a plane. It's a cell phone. We're talking geometry, not pasta and cell phones. Getting lots of bots tonight. They're going mad, aren't they? I hope the other chats have all of these as well, or whether they're just being targeted specifically at me. Yeah, hopefully we're going to be going over the realizing Euclid test again as well, because it's pretty clear. I don't think people have understood what it is and what it's about. And I'm hoping people might end up learning a little bit about logic and geometry, put together with Saragaki's proof. We can show the link to reality with all of that stuff. I mean, there's loads of other extra bits we can do. If people want to come and discuss about how to develop this water level as the tool to establish the plane. But I mean, you have to start off really with the understanding, like Rumpus shows, that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane. Once you know that, you can devise tests around it. And it's good that Rumpus knows. I'll just play it again. Rumpus.
I think this is where the confusion starts. You use a water level to create a horizontal, but what he doesn't understand is that the term level is for a constant elevation. And because the water level gives a horizontal, he's all confused because by that sort of that combination of words.
Water level does give a horizontal now then, right?
No one's disputed it didn't.
Okay. That's brilliant.
Specifically,
Here you go. Rumpus lets us know that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal. Is he still around, or has he gone missing with Blue? Blue and Rumpus? Did they catch
They are
up
silent.
in the video?
Maybe they are gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. What time are we at? Oh, it's only early, isn't it? What do you reckon? Have we got anything else to be doing? Anybody got any other topics they want to be going over? Or should we go to an after party in the next level Discord? What do you reckon? I think we might call it a night and go into have a little discussion about how it's going over there and the guys. Okay. Buster. So at Logic Night, I'm sorry that the Globe Logician, who came bearing 0 proofs, as we knew, came to criticise, but then was unable to precisely critique a very simple statement before the logic. But anyway, we did get to see Saragaki's proof. We walked over it with paper. Thank you very much. So I'd say today has been a good day. A good day for logic. A good day to show how simple logic can be. And we will be working on these logical statements. Anybody got any final words?
My word would be that Beddy didn't get any proofs, but also didn't get any disproofs. And he claimed that he would disprove something, but he didn't bring any disproofs here. So it was, for me, it was disappointment.
Yeah. I think Emma was a bit disappointed as well. Emma wanted to have a go at, because I said I'd stand back. Although I think I may have jumped in once. So sorry, Emma, if I jumped in. Anytime you're welcome back, Beddy. Anytime you want to come back and work over any of these proofs, if you can stand to hear these geometric proofs, you just have to come over. Sure, Saragaki would love to give you a personal demonstration of these proofs if that's what you want. Come round anytime. Yeah. You know when we're on. 8 o'clock UK time. And we will be back tomorrow. It is hump day. But I think we're going to be doing a special on the Euclid plane. Realizing Euclid. It's going to be a big thing. Okay. Join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. And thanks for joining us tonight. See you tomorrow.
It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their mind. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.